Hey guys, we're back down on the Cape, and time to go take a look at little girl and see how she fared. They've been having a lot of strong winds and rain, and hey, I'm just glad to be back. We're down here for almost a week this time, so that's going to be good. Got some great important stuff we're going to be doing to try to get her ready for the water. All right, you realize, guys, when we, as of January 1st, I will have been working on this boat for a full 3 years. And that is why I'm determined. She's going in the water this coming summer. And I'm sure everybody that's been watching this series is kind of anxious for the same thing. So let's take a look, see how she came out. Oh, yeah, baby, I like that. Okay. Get over here. Yep, that's good. And then the usual places got a little water collected right here. Yep, and that will, all that empties out really well. So, all right, guys, we're back. This is my baby this time. This mast is going to get completely scrubbed down and wrung out to figure out where we're at with our wiring. So, it's going to be an important thing. I want to get that that mast light, the foremast light, remounted as soon as we get the electricals worked out. So, all right, I've got some more stuff to unload from our trip down here, so we'll be back to this as soon as possible. All right, guys, looking at the top of the motor mount here, I had already eyeballed everything, looking down through the center, checking it out with a weep hole down below. And then I checked the where the turn screws went down on the last motor, and it came up with here's where the inside of one clamp, here's where the inside of the other clamp. That's dead center. These are just about perfect right here. So that's going to be my center line. And what I'm going to do, I've got this right here, all cut, and there's my two openings, and I'm going to center that up. And I got these two clamps ready to go to bind it on down. Then once the two clamps are down, then I can go ahead and take my new tool and we'll do some carving out, see what we can do with the backside of this motor mount. All right, guys, well, everything is perfectly lined up, clamped into position. I think we're ready to go. I'll be honest, I'm a little nervous about doing this, but, you know, hey, if this motor's going to fit, this is the way it's got to be. So I'm going to go ahead and get out my multi-tool and go right down through there and see how this all works. The multi-tool looks like it's going to fit perfectly and down into our slots there. So I'll be with you in a few minutes and show you what we're working with. Well, the tool seems to work fine. The attachments that came with the tool are garbage. Look at this. I don't know if you can see that. Okay, the part where I was trying to cut down through edgewise, man, those teeth are just shot all to pieces. I'm going to have to go pick up a decent attachment to go on this because I guess you get what you pay for. For 35 bucks, like I said, I'm pleased with the tool. So far, it's holding up fine. It's got good vibration. It's doing the cutting. Let me show you. It's doing the cutting. Here you go. I don't know if you can see that. It's doing it. And I got to go about 2.5 inches down. And I'm not even, maybe not even a quarter of the way through that. So, anyway, got to go pick up another blade for this thing. It's just not adequate. So, anyway, we're making a start here. I'm gonna try to get these things cut out before maybe before lunchtime. Well, I used a template, and these are well marked out now. I'm well down into them. But I got to go a lot deeper than I am right now. I've got to go down to about 2 inches at least, and I'm not even close. So I got my brother's tool. I went and turned that cheapo in back at Harbor Freight, and got my brother's Dremel, which is a superb piece of equipment with a brand new cutting blade. It's plenty sharp. It's doing the job. But I mean This motor mount is tough as nails. It has taken a long time to eat its way down through there, so back to work. guys, here I am, the one that's always complaining about the noise around here, and I'm the one making the noise lately. So what I've done here with my brother's awesome Dremel unit, I've turned this blade sideways and locked it in so that I can go down in here like this and cut sideways into these. And otherwise, there's no way I could make a horizontal cut to take out these slots. But anyway, that's what I'm going to do. Everything's in place, locked down, so I'm going to get started on this. And I will spare you the noise. I'll show you the results after we get done. It was easy and fast. Took me all of about 30 seconds to cut those off. But now I've got to go another ½ inch down below where those are right now. And I'm going to take some more measurements just to make sure that we're right on target here. But from what I can tell, we can drop that engine in. And if I cut out another ½ inch, it will not only drop in place, but I'll be able to use the clamps to tighten down, and we'll be good to go. So let me get back to work. Go, guys, it's all done. Everything is all cut, and I've got exactly 2 inches between the front of the motor mount and these slots, which is going to give me very adequate to be able to slide my motor back down on there and use the clamps to go ahead and turn it into place. Everything is nice and neat. The only thing I've got left to do, and I can't do it today because of the temperature, is I'm going to completely saturate these slots with epoxy. I want to completely saturate those with epoxy. I don't think I'm going to glass them. This wood is just incredibly dense and hard. But hey, it's done. It's done. So job 1 is done. This is one of the biggies that I came down here for. And I'm glad at least this part of it got done, because now we can move on. I think I'm going to do the mast next. I'm going to take a couple hours to go with my wife. This is Black Friday they call it. And I want to pick up a CD for her. She's really into this one particular song, and she doesn't know about it. Well, she does know I'm going to do something. I'm terrible at keeping secrets. She knows I'm going to do something for her, but she doesn't know what. So we're going to go up the mall for a while, in spite of all the thousands and thousands of people that be mobbing the mall. So anyway, when I come back, this is my next project, is get the mast cleaned up. I brought that power supply with me, and so far, in trying to connect those wires, I've not gotten any response out of this masthead light. No, excuse me, not masthead. The 4-mast light. I've not gotten anything out of it, so I don't know if it's functional. We'll see. So that's my next project. Here we are back down my parents' basement here, and doing a measurement. Here's the clamp screws on the motor mount, the motor, and I have a full 2 inches of opening out there, and here we are down here, and you can see I got right at 2 1/4 of opening with these clamp screws. So we're good. We're good, and that's both sides, which means that I've got a full 1/4 of an inch of play as it comes down onto the motor mount, and then I just got to spin these down and lock her in. So, all right, I think we're good on that. And because I cut it with the template that came right off from these, I know they're the right width apart. I know they're the right width as far as these pads are concerned on the motor clamps. So I think we're good to go. Anyway, that's a wrap on that, and the only way I've got to check in this is when my brother comes back. We'll get the motor up there, and we'll slide it down and see how she fits. Good news. Here's my little 12-volt power supply I mentioned earlier. And what I did is I went ahead and cut the connectors off these, because these were just really old, shot, just totally messed up. I cut these. Where is one of those? Anyway, I cut them off. And so I got down to bare wire. The bare wire was totally corroded, so I kind of used my knife and scraped the wire. And then I hitched it up to my 12-volt power supply. And let's see what happens here. There you go. The only problem is, now this is great because this shines down onto the foredeck. So you've got a great light for the bottom, but you got no light here. it's missing the upper, well, the bulb is there, but it's not functional. So this is going to be my next thing, is to see if that is a bulb that I can change out. If it's not, I may just be content with this, because I've got a masthead light that's going in, a brand new one. Anyway, so that's good. That's one more thing that we've got checked out. And anytime you're getting ready to do mast work, and you've got a little cheapy power supply like this is ancient. You got something like this, bring it along. Man, it saves you having to haul along a big heavy battery. All right, guys. Good. Okay, I got this thing figured out. This green wire right here is your ground. Okay. This white wire is the front of your mast. This black wire is your foredeck light. Both of these work. In other words, if I attach the 12 volts to the foremast light, which is at the, or spreader light, let's call it spreader light. If I attach it to the spreader light works. If I attach it to the foredeck light, the foredeck light works. If I connect both of these two together and try to run that same 12 volts into two of them together so that they both come on at once, it doesn't work. Only one thing comes on, and that's your foredeck light. Which says to me, and I could be wrong, but it says to me that in order for each one of these, the foredeck light and the spreader light to work, what it says is they both need independent 12-volt sources. They can both share a ground, that's not a problem. But the problem is right here, that they each require a separate switch with a separate 12 volts power supply. That would work, because it works. If I switch the 12 volt back and forth between the two of them, both of them work. But if I connect them together, only the foredeck light comes on. So that's unique to this particular unit, I guess. And frankly, I may just go ahead and forget about the spreader light. I'll have to think about this one. But we got it figured out. We know where our wiring is at. We know exactly what's going on now. And all thanks to my little cheapo power supply. By the way, this only puts out about 10 volts. But it's enough to check out your wiring. So, all right, guys. That's it for wiring for now. Now I'm going to get up on the deck and look at the wiring harness coming out of the top of the cabin. Okay, so I've been doing some experimentation up on the cabin top. Running lights. See, I've only got four switches here. The bottom one is your accessories. That runs the marine radio. Cabin light runs the cabin lights. Running lights runs the port and starboard running light, and they are functional. They're working. I flipped it on. They're both on. Then anchor light. You've only got one 12 volt going to the base of the mast, from what I can tell. And that's running all, that's running 3 bulbs? That's kind of weird. I don't know. I rang it out, and I don't see how that's possible. See, I've got working lights there, but how in the world they divided this up, I don't know. When I went up on the cabin top and looked at it, man, nothing makes sense because of all the wires are up there. There are 4 wires up there, which would correspond to the 4 wires I've got at the base of the mast, but right now I can't get a clear ring on any of them. The ground seems to be ground, but that's about all I can tell. All right, guys, this is going to be a continuing conversation for later. I'm going to fold it for right now, probably do some more in the morning. Morning from aboard Little Girl. We're out here, let's see, it's about 7:45, I guess. A bright sunny day. I've got my solar panel out to charge up the battery. And what I'm just done just now, I got my heater out. I'm going to heat the inside of that lazarette and try to get that epoxy on those slots that I cut yesterday. And that way, that's all done. It's in this kind of weather, it may seem a bit drastic to go heating the inside of a lazarette to do a little epoxy work, but you know, I just want to get that done. It's one of the, you know, kind of a finish-up thing for that particular project. So, all right, well, I think I'm going to go grab breakfast after I get my heat on in the lazarette, and we'll hope that this all goes well today. And I got the epoxy inside warming, and we should be good to go. All right, we'll catch you later. Got everything all set up. Here's my heater. there's the slots, and I've got the bomb bay doors not only pulled up but insulated there with a sheet thing. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to put the hatch down, and I've got this quilt. I'm going to get this quilt and completely cover the front of the hatch so that we kind of get some insulation here and let the heat build up. And I can feel that heat going already. I don't know how long it's going to take to get those warm, but I want to get those slots completely warmed before we put the epoxy on. All right, we'll let this go for a while. All right, we'll catch you later. All right, well, it's all covered up and heating inside. We'll see if this works. Just dawned on me, I thought about bringing in a hair dryer out here. I says, no, wait a minute. I got a heater. So anyway, we got to go inside there, and it should heat that up pretty good. We'll come back after breakfast and see how she's going. Just come. The epoxy's all mixed up, all stirred with a hardener in it. And this is toasty warm inside of here. So what we're going to do, set this down in here best we can. Take a brush. We've already got this masked off. Oops, sorry, got to show it. The way that I did this, I put a little bit of masking tape across the bottom so it would pool down there in the bottom, let it just soak in. You probably can't even see this, can you? Okay, see if we can go down through here. Oh, that's better. There we go. I don't know if you can see that. There we go. That's nice. That one's all done. Go over to port. Now what I'm going to do is just keep this heater running for a good long time, but let it ventilate. I'm going to not try to get this completely sealed up. We need some of the, oh, here we go. I don't know if you're even seeing this. Anyway, we're not going to try to keep this completely sealed because I want those fumes to be able to get out, especially where I got a heater running right next to it. Hope everything didn't burst into flames and all my work will be for nothing. That wouldn't be funny. Why am I laughing? Okay. Now I gotta just look this all over and see if we're completely, get your finger out of the way, Randy. It's looking pretty good. Looking pretty good. This one's looking pretty good over here too. I think we got it. I see a little more in that corner I need to get. Okay. That's done. And that's done. Very good. All right, job done. I'm gonna throw this extra resin over the side, let it sit out here and cool, and it'll harden up in about 10 minutes or so. And I think we're good, guys. The slots for my clamps on my motor mount are all ready to put the motor on when I get around to it. When my brother gets back from this trip, we'll try to get it up here and see how everything fits. Alright guys, that's it for now. We'll get on with another project after a while, but for right now, Job well done. This is one of the biggies that I wanted to get done for this trip. Well, here we are, guys. This is finish up time. For better or for worse, whatever it is, we're going to leave it like this. Oh man, is it warm in there. Beautiful. Perfect. Those slots are hardened up just exactly the way they ought to be. Next time we do some glass work, may throw another coat on those, but for right now, that's awesome. Those are really good and solid. Take the tape off, we're good to go. Next step is my brother being here. We'll throw the engine up here and see how it fits onto the motor mount. So, all right, that's it. Good job. Well, guys, it's Sunday afternoon. Had a good trip. Haven't got a huge amount accomplished, but we did get the mast pretty much all worked out where everything goes, what the wiring is, and got some things to make a decision upon. Got the motor mount completely squared away. All that remains now is for me to have my brother here when he gets back from Colorado, and we'll get that boat motor up on this and see how she fits. Other than that, we're going to work a little bit and have one segment try to get that little latch for the motor cowling finished up this afternoon, but I'm going to let this be the wrap up. Anyway, look, you know, with every trip there are compromises, and this time at least the things that got done, it was not 2 steps back, you know, 1 step forward, 2 steps back. At least this time it was basically all steps forward, and just really excited to kind of know where I'm at with the mast. My next challenge is going to be the deck harness and figuring out what's going on with the electrics on that. I was up there with my volt-ohm meter, my multimeter, whatever you want to call it, for a little while after working on the mast, and frankly, it's a bit confusing because, I mean, even with the switches flipped on below here, there's no solid readings coming through any of the wiring on the mast, and excuse me, on the deck harness. So it's all to be worked out in the future. We got to figure that out, because obviously if you don't have solid current coming out of the top of the deck, it's going to be hard to have any solid current going up into your lights, so your masthead light and your spreader light. So we'll figure it out. Anyway, thanks for stopping by Restoring Little Girl. Been a good trip. I had important things to get done this trip, and that had to do with, this is my time about once a year to come down and preach for them, because since they help to support our work up in Vermont. Preach for them and do a Bible class and a presentation. So that's done. It's behind me. Back to work. So, guys, thanks for stopping by. Like I said,